Hey guys, it's Ryan Butler, and we are coming with part 2 of Airbnb pros and cons. Today's are gonna be about the cons of Airbnb. Great, so Airbnb has a great thing going on right now. A lot of people are loving Airbnb, are loving doing investments with them and renting out their homes. But let's talk a little bit about some of the cons that can happen when you're actually dealing with an Airbnb rental. So one of the first things that comes to mind is that in a lot of places across the country, and then particularly in DC with condos and co-ops, they actually don't allow Airbnb. So it's tough to actually rent out an Airbnb, condo, and co-op because there's a board on both of those. So a cooperative board or condominium board that votes and says, hey, we can have short-term rentals or we cannot. Across DC, pretty much across the board, condos and co-ops do not allow for Airbnb rentals. So that's one of the cons. If you're looking for an investment property and you're thinking Airbnb, you should probably know that too. So with Airbnb, some of the issues that you're going to run into is red tape with regulation. So what you're seeing these days across the country, and then also particularly in DC, there has been pushback about having short-term rentals, even in a fee simple, single-family home using Airbnb. And so there's been some pushback on investors and homeowners being allowed to utilize Airbnb in its current form in DC. So we have to watch out for that because regulation can come and kind of change the landscape on how Airbnb is used and the value of it. So if you're making decisions on investment purchases based off what you can get for Airbnb, just keep that in mind. Airbnb is also, or can also be very seasonal. So you talk to people who are renting out their homes with Airbnb right now as landlords, and it might be the summertime and it seems great. But then the wintertime comes and then they don't rent out as much, and that can affect your projections as far as cash flow is concerned. So you have to keep in mind that you're almost operating in a similar vein as a hotel, and it's going to be more seasonal with some people being able to book up your Airbnb property during more travel-centric times than times when people are not traveling as much, and for example, the winter time. And then the last piece is the maintenance of it. So if you're having short-term rentals where people are staying a day or two at a time, you're gonna have to make sure you clean up the house before it goes to the next person who's renting it. And that sounds really simple, but that can really be a big pain in the butt, to be honest with you. And you wanna make sure that either you have some type of house cleaning in place. The good thing is Airbnb allows you to pass on the charges of cleaning to the client who's renting as well. But then that changes how much they're paying for their Airbnb stay if they're adding on the cost of what it takes to clean out the property. So that's the end of part 2 of the Airbnb pros and cons. The first video was about the pros. The second video is about the cons. I hope it was helpful. As usual, if you have any questions or concerns about renting, how you're going to do as an investor renting out a property, particularly with Airbnb, we can have a conversation. Just feel free to reach out to me as you normally would. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next video.